Okay, pleasant evening to everyone. So yesterday we have discussed about this particular concept called a big six concept in writing coding of Node MCU, and in that we have discussed about how to write anything in digital and read in digital as well as in analog format, read and write operation, and if statement how to use that, and serial communication, and finally delay we discussed. And this is the sample pin mode representation where you have to define your pin as input or output mode. Okay, if we are conferring it as a input mode, then most probably all the sensors can be easily connected to that particular pin. Okay, say for example, if you connect a temperature sensor to the D1 pin, then that particular pin has to be set as input mode. And if you want to connect some LED or some relay, then you have to connect that particular pin as output mode. Okay, you have to configure like that in your setup coding, and afterwards in the loop you have to set the conditions. And here is the few commands that we discussed. For example, the pin number 13 will be set as output mode, so you could connect either some LEDs or some relay devices so that it will operate 230 voltage. Okay, the difference between your LED and your relay is that both will be turning on and turning off your device, but it will be having some different voltage. Okay, where LED has maximum operating of 3.3 to 5 voltage, but in the case of relay you could operate the same output with some high voltage devices like 230 voltage device or 440 voltage device. Even higher voltage device also we can able to easily switch on and switch off by using the relay. Okay, so depending upon the amount of voltage that you are handling, you have to put some relay devices accordingly. Okay, so you have to put some devices with high current rate like 5 amps or 10 amps or more than 20 amps also. Sometimes it is needed. Okay, it is depending upon the application, but the configuration will be same. Okay, so even with the small Node MCU device like this can be used to drive any very high voltage device also. Okay, so that's a specialty. And here by using some digital write we can just turn or turn off by using some high or low voltages. Okay, suppose if you set high it is logic 1, so if you set low it is logic 0. So thus we discussed. And for delay we will be representing it with milliseconds. Okay, so most probably all the times represented within this bracket is millisecond time. Okay, so suppose if you want to represent a 2.5 second, then 2500 you have to give it inside the brackets. And now we see the other parameters. So in your console window, as I shown yesterday, that is at the bottom you will be having this console window where you will be getting all the informations. Okay, so in this we may get some informations like how much memory it is utilizing, and what is the maximum memory size of your coding likewise, and also the connectivities, errors. Okay, and the successful completion of updation of codings, everything you can see it here. And if you find any errors, then accordingly you just go for error correcting in the programming window. Okay, and it will also tell you the COM port at which your controller has connected. And this is the breadboard. Most probably you will be knowing where you will be having some horizontal and vertical kind of connections. So in between these two layers you will be having vertically connected layers, so behind. Okay, so each and every line will be having a single plate connection. So if you want to connect 5 different pins or 6 different pins, then you can give it in this one single vertical line, then you can able to join all those pins. Okay, so for giving temporary connection we will be using this breadboard. And in the horizontal on the top and bottom side of your breadboard we will be having the plates in horizontal manner, right? And by using this horizontal pin we can able to give maximum of 25 nodes connection. Okay, if you probably by for giving your ground connection and for your power supply connection we may use this power rails. Okay, so we may use the top one as a power rail and bottom one as a ground rail, so it may be represented in two different colors, red and your black in color. Okay, black color represents ground, but it is not so, you can interchange also. Okay, it is depending upon your need. So suppose if you connect 5 voltage pins to the bottom line, automatically the bottom line represents your 5 voltage, that is your power rail connection. Okay, so it is not mandatory that you have to only connect to the power rail to the top row. Okay, it is not like that. You can connect as you want. Okay, even in this vertical pin also you can give power rail or ground connections. Okay, but most probably in the circuit we need more number of ground connections, so that's the reason why we are preferring this top layer of your breadboard, where you will be given with some 25 pins. Suppose if you are exceeding the 25 pin, then automatically you can take the adjacent 25 pins. Okay, just by putting one jumper between these two layers, we can able to connect these two pins. Okay, so in this manner we can use our breadboard. And this is the breadboard connection. Okay, so especially in the case of your node MCU, you have to connect your controller as shown in this figure. Okay, why I am suggesting you is because at this end, okay, so at this end we will be connecting our class B type connector. Okay, so suppose if you place this particular controller at the middle of your board, then your connectivity will become tougher, right? So you cannot easily plug in or plug out this particular wire connection. So that's the reason why at the edge of your breadboard you please connect your node MCU. Okay, and next one is a simple program. So we will start with simple program and we will end up with this very high level of applications like smart city applications. So here I'm going to explain you with some LED, right? And you know there is a two pins, anode and a cathode. So anode is a plus, will be having smaller edge here, and this side you will be having a cathode that is negative. So this is supposed to be connected with your node MCU as shown in this figure, where positive end will be connected to any one of your digital pins, D0, D1, D2, D3. Likewise, any one of the pin you have to connect it to the positive side, and the negative pin can be connected to any one of your ground pin. Okay, so you may have given with some 3 or 4 ground pins. So in that pin, any one of the pin you can give the ground connection, then automatically this LED will work. Okay, and here for your information, it is connected with the GPIO pin number 5, but it is actually it is D1 pin. Okay, so D1 is in represented in the board, so that is board representation, and as per the GPIO representation it is pin number 5. Okay, you can go with any manner, but my suggestion, you please go with this board representation. Okay, so where D1 is easily identified, that particular pin is connected with your LED. And next one is your ground connection. You can use any ground pin in your node MCU. And if you want to control your LED, probably you will be given with some high or low voltage that will make the LED on and off. Okay, so for this we are going to use a command called digital write pin. Okay, so for digital write we have to represent with high or low, so that particular LED will either go up or down. Okay, so here we will be having a simple code where your integer is an analog pin number, so where I'm defining this pin number as 3. Okay, so if you want, you can represent it as D1. Okay, so D1 pin will be represented as analog pin here, then integer value is written as 0. Okay, suppose if you want to vary that intensity level also, we can use this one, or if you want to simply turn on and off, you can go with digital read and digital write. Okay, and here I have written a code for reading your analog input. Okay, so just I will go with some digital write at first, so that you will be understanding. So here I have written a code for simple blink program, where I have represented my LED pin as D1. Okay, in the first line. So for that I am defining with an integer type. So wherever I am going to use this particular pin configuration inside my program, I can represent with LED pin instead of D1. So this may be needed because very many times we will be changing the input pin to D1 to D2, D2 to D3 somewhere else. Okay, so we have to every time find the pin number in the program, and we have to replace accordingly. So instead I can use this particular configuration where I am defining one variable for this particular pin. So wherever inside the program, if I want to use that particular pin, I can use this variable. Simply if I want to change the pin only in this line number 1, I can able to change, so that it will be applicable to all other places. Okay, and this here I have represented as serial dot begin in order to represent my serial data communication inside the microcontroller and to the laptop in the serial monitor. Okay, so that I can view it in the serial monitor. For that I am representing with some baud rate called 1,15,200. So this is special for your node MCU category. Even it will work with some other baud rate, but it will be best for using this 1,15,200 baud rate for your node MCU. And this is only one time it will run. And don't forget that you have to define the pin mode. So pin mode you have to say LED pin will be of output mode. So if you don't apply this one, you don't get any errors here, but unfortunately it won't work. Okay, so definitely you have to say that what is the pin mode here. And next one is LED pin. So I'm just in the loop, I'm going to make the LED pin on for particular duration of time and off for particular duration of time. So in order to ensure that whether the this particular line is worked or not, I'm just printing this function in the serial monitor as LED is turned on. Okay, and I'm waiting for another half a second. Okay, 500 millisecond I'm waiting, and I'm making the light as off now, and again I'm just mentioning it in the serial monitor as LED is off, and now I'm turning I'm waiting for another half second. Okay, and this is how you have to program. And you please select the board by going to the tool menu and go to the board menu, and here you can find your ESP8266 board 2.5.0 and choose your node MCU 1.0 ESP12E module. Okay, and after selecting this, 1 second you have to wait, and then again you go to tool menu and go to port address, and now you have to connect your particular port. So now I am not connected my device, so it is not showing my port. Okay, so COM port is already available inside my laptop. Already it is used for some other purpose. Now I am going to connect my device. So this is my node MCU and this is my breadboard, and for simplicity I have taken a half size breadboard. This is called mini breadboard, and in this breadboard I'm just going to place my node MCU either side. Okay, so I have to give a connector here at this end, so I'm just placing my node MCU so that I can able to easily connect my pins like this. Okay, suppose if I'm placing here or here, then every time when I want to connect and disconnect, it will be not easy for me. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm just placing my node MCU at the end. So here you have to place it and you press once. Okay, all the pins has to be inserted properly in both the side like this. Okay, and afterwards you just take your cable and insert it here. Once if you insert, there is a blink happening in this LED. So immediately if you want to see also, you can just again and again you press the reset button few times. Okay, if you press the reset button, automatically the node MC will be getting ready, and now you can go for programming. So now if you go to tools menu and if you see the port, this will be automatically connected. So because very many times I'm using the same COM port 5, it is automatically choosing. Suppose if it is not chosen automatically, then you have to go and click this COM 5. Okay, and afterwards you have to press Ctrl U, or you can click on this upload button. Okay, so that your coding will be uploaded. While uploading your coding, you may press 1 or 2 times your flash button so that the previous program stored in this microcontroller may be erased. So once if the compilation is done up to this point, if you get a green color line, then your uploading will start. So here you can see there is an uploading symbol, and it will go like 25%, 30%, likewise. So step by step it will upload. While uploading your code, see, while uploading your code, you may see that this particular LED is blinking. Okay, so this is an indication that your program is uploading into your controller. So once if your uploading is done, then here it will represent with 100%, and if you want, you can see your monitor, that is COM port, and your LEDs keep on turned on and turned off. Okay, so continuously it is turning on and off, and if you want also, you just press once your reset button, again it will start from the beginning. Okay, so your LED is started blinking, and if you want to see, I will just connect an LED and show you. Now you see that I am going to connect my LED to the D1 pin, that is positive side, and the negative one I am going to connect it to the ground rail. Okay, so I am just using this rail as a ground rail, and I am going to take one jumper. Okay, and I am connected with one ground symbol. Okay, so this is the ground I am going to use. Now I can see my LED is blinking. Okay, it is blinking for every half a second, so it is very fast. Okay, if I want to control the speed also, I can able to do it with the coding. Okay, so simply by mentioning it as 500 instead of 500, if I am putting something like 1000 or 2000, it will accordingly blink. Okay, so this is not a simple blink program. You have to understand that you have been configured one device, that is any voltage device controlled by your Node MCU. Likewise, you have to think. Okay, let me explain this code. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to create a server, okay, web server. So through this particular website, you can able to control this particular LED. Okay, not only this LED, you can connect any home appliances in your home. Okay, so if you want to connect, if you want to control your fan, light, TV, refrigerators that is available in your home without internet, that is a specialty. Okay, without internet, in the sense you can use this particular code. Okay, so without internet, in the sense the distance of coverage may be limited. Okay, so within 100 feet distance or 100-meter distance only you can able to control your home appliances. Okay, this will ensure that there is a security for controlling your home appliances, but it will give you an effective solution. Okay, either you may go with some browser for controlling your devices, or you may create your own app. Okay, so we will be given with some MIT app facilities. So by using that MIT app facility, that MIT app will give you an app for controlling your home appliances. By using that, we can easily control your home appliances. Okay, so that's a specialty. So first we will see how to control it with your web server. Okay, so by using some Google Chrome or some other web server, how to control your home appliances, I will be explaining now. Okay, so in the very first line, we will be coding it with the library file. Okay, so the ESP8266 Wi-Fi is the required library for making your Node MCU to connect with your Wi-Fi devices. Okay, so first of all, your devices will be given with some IP address, and that IP address has to be connected with your internet. Okay, so for that we are in need of this particular library, ESP8266.h. okay. And next one is Wi-Fi client, because we are going to use our IoT device as a client, okay, from your server, web server, for your web server. So your web server or the HTML code is your server that will be controlling my home appliances, okay. So in this category my Node MCU may be a client, okay. So IoT client I can say. So in order to make my device as a client, I need this particular library. And third one is my SSID and a password, okay. For SSID and a password, I'm just defining it with a constant character, okay. So SSID most probably in the character, or we may mix it with some numbers and characters also. So you should not go with some symbols, okay. So you have to use only numbers and characters, okay. So that's why I'm defining it with the character. And here in SSID, I'm just representing my Wi-Fi network's name, okay. So here in my case, I'm using my mobile phone as a hotspot or the Wi-Fi router, okay. So in this in my home, I'm just using my mobile phone hotspot as a router for connecting my IoT device to the internet, okay. So for my Wi-Fi hotspot name, I'm just mentioning it here, and the password, the corresponding password for connecting my hotspot, I'm just representing here. So by using these two credential, my Node MCU device will communicate with the internet, okay. Just communicate with the internet alone it will do. And the next one, I'm just representing one LED pin, okay. So here in my case, I can represent with the D1. So integer LED pin may be defined as D1, and if you want GPIO pin representation, you can go with some D16, okay, but it is not required. And next one is a Wi-Fi server. I'm just starting my Wi-Fi server with the port 80, okay. So this is a common port which will be communicating with my web server to the Node MCU, okay. And next one is a setup code, okay. So in the setup code, whatever the things happening at only one time has to be written. So here in the serial begin, I am just giving the baud rate 1,15,200 for my Node MCU device. I'm just giving a delay for 10 milliseconds, okay. So 10 milliseconds it will take time to after executing that code, and I'm making my pin mode as output mode, okay. So pin mode in the sense my LED may be connected, so LED most probably in the output port, output mode it has to be connected. So I'm just representing it with the output. Initially, whenever I'm starting any home appliances, it has to be in the turned off mode, because I'm going to automate, right. So earlier it was connected with the switches that is available in the blackboard. So by using that switch only, we will operate our light to fan everything, right. But in this case, I'm just taking the controller to the browser, okay. I'm just giving that controller to the browser. So as soon as the browser starts, I have to switch off all my devices, or the devices has to be initialized at first, okay. It should not be immediately turned on, okay. We may give automatically from the browser, we may give some commands to turn on one particular light or to turn off one particular device. So before to that, we have to ensure all the devices are in switch off mode. So for that, whatever the pin I am configuring it here, I will be turning it off, okay. So for that, I am just giving a low command. So digital write LED pin low, in the sense all my devices will be turned off at first while it is converting from manual operation to automated operation. And afterwards, I'm just trying to connect my Wi-Fi device, okay. So for that, I'm just giving a one line spacing, okay. Serial.println with nothing in bracket is representing a one line space, one line, okay, one new line. And next one again, I'm giving another one new line, and next one I'm just giving that Wi-Fi mode in the soft mode, okay. So Wi-Fi AP mode, so that I can able to connect to this particular IP address, okay. So I'm going to connect my Node MCU to the Wi-Fi server of my mobile phone, okay. So with this mobile phone, if my Node MCU is connecting, automatically it will give me a IP address, okay. So it will allocate one IP address for my IoT device or my Node MCU. By using that IP address only, I can able to control my home appliances. For that, I am in need of a soft AP. So for that, I am just defining this Wi-Fi mode as Wi-Fi AP. And next one, I'm just giving you what is the present status of my node MCU, whether it is connected to the Wi-Fi or it is not connected. Okay, so for that I'm just giving like connecting to which particular node. Okay, so here I'm just mentioning the SSID which I have mentioned in the above. Okay, so here I have mentioned some SSID, right? So to that SSID it is going to connect. Why it is needed? Because sometimes I may change my SSID to something else, right? So but after writing this particular code into my node MCU, I don't know to which particular SSID it is going to connect, or to which particular hotspot it is going to connect. So in order to mention that, I'm just giving this line so that I can able to understand what hotspot it is trying to connect. Okay, so for that I'm just giving serial println as SSID. And next one, this is most important line, Wi-Fi begin. Okay, so by using this particular function only, my node MCU device will communicate with connect with the Wi-Fi. Okay, for connectivity it needs a SSID as well as the password. Okay, hotspot name and the hotspot password it requires. Okay, by using this hotspot name and password, my node MCU will now connect to the Wi-Fi network which I have given. So, and I'm ensuring that that particular device connection has been established or not. Okay, for that I'm using one while function. So within that while loop I'm mentioning it as Wi-Fi status. Okay, so this is one particular function. If Wi-Fi is perfectly connected, Wi-Fi status is perfectly connected, then I may get a true command here. Suppose if Wi-Fi is not connected by my node MCU device, then automatically not connected command line will be established, right? So I'm verifying that whether it is not whether it is connected or not. Okay, suppose if it is not connected. Okay, so suppose if it is not connected means not equal to, this is representing not equal to sign. Suppose my Wi-Fi is not connected, then I'm giving some delay, that is half a second I'm giving, and I'm in the serial monitor I'm just printing some dot dot dot. It means that it is trying to connect to the above set SSID. So this loop will be continuously run until my Wi-Fi connectivity is established between my node MCU and to the hotspot. Okay, now suppose if my connection is perfectly established, Wi-Fi is perfectly connected, in the sense automatically this particular loop will not be executed, because this particular condition will be failed, so it will come out from your while loop. Okay, so if I want to know where this particular while loop is started, this particular command is started, I can just place a cursor here, so it will tell you where your function is started, or otherwise you can press on this particular minus sign so that you can see what is the function, total function within this particular while loop. Okay, so for that only I'm asked you to enable that code folding. So this is called code folding method, right? And also by placing your cursor here, you can see where it is started, or by placing cursor at the starting point, you can see where your coding is end, this particular function is end. Okay, and next one, suppose if perfectly connection is established, it will come out of this particular while loop and it will add another one new line. Okay, and next one, it will say that your Wi-Fi status is now connected. So for that I'm just printing Wi-Fi connected in my serial monitor. And next one, the server has to be started, right? And for that I'm just giving an function called server.begin. Okay, so immediately your server will be, web server coding will be started. Now the status has to be uploaded in the serial monitor. For that I'm just representing it as server started in the serial monitor. Okay, just serial.println, in the sense this will be displayed in the serial monitor. Okay, next one is IP address. So in order to connect my devices to the server, web server, I should need a IP address. So by using that IP address only, I can able to control my home appliances. So I'm just printing that IP address for my reference. So I'm just printing like use this URL to connect my home appliances. Okay, and afterwards I'm just adding http double slash, because with this http double slash only your browser will understand one particular IP address and it will configure accordingly. Okay, so I'm just adding this https and double slash, and afterwards I'm printing the local IP address which is allocated for my node MCU. Since I have connected my node MCU to the hotspot, my mobile phone hotspot may allocate one particular IP address automatically to my node MCU. So that IP address, if I want to know, this is the command. Okay, so in the serial.println, why I am putting is because I need to understand in the serial monitor, right? So for that I am using this function Wi-Fi.local IP off. It means that it will give me that particular allocated IP address in my serial monitor. Next I'm just putting one slash, okay, in order to add my command lines. Okay, so this is done only once. Okay, so all these lines will be written in my setup coding. Okay, so setup part only I have written all these things. So if I'm folding my setup code, I can see all these lines were available. Okay, so now I expand. So up to this it is a setup code. If I'm just clicking here, I can see it is up to setup code. Next one is loop. So repeatedly what has to be done. So now I'm explaining what is going to be run continuously. Okay, now you see there is a server availability checking. Okay, so for that I'm using a command called server.available. So this, whenever there is a server available, that is whenever I'm giving a command from my web server, it has to be identified, right? So for that I'm using this function, and this particular web server availability will be stored in the client. Okay, so this is an object variable created by Wi-Fi client library. Okay, and by using this object variable I can see whether server is available or not. That means whether I'm giving some command from my browser or not. Okay, likewise I can able to understand. Suppose if I'm not having any command from my server, then automatically this loop will not be run and it will return back to again the first line. Okay, so it will not execute the further lines. It will coming to the first line again, and it will look for the server availability. Suppose if the server is available, then this particular condition may be fail and the next line will be executed. Okay, suppose if there is a command, then automatically it will tell that serial.println new client is available. Okay, so this will be displayed in the serial monitor, and after that, if client is not available, okay, so there is a client available but he is not giving any commands, means then we will be giving some 1 millisecond delay. So until he is pressing some buttons to turn or turn off, we are giving some delays. Okay, so this delay we can able to increase or decrease according to our need. And next one is the command. Okay, so from the server, what command we are going to give, we have to understand. So for that, read the first line of your request from the server. So for that I am creating one string variable. So I am creating variable name called request. So in this request, whatever the command received from my server will be stored. Okay, so for receiving that command, I am using the function called client.read string until /r. Okay, so until you get a slash command, you have to read the input instructions from your web server. Okay, and that I am storing it in the request variable, and now I am printing that same command in the serial monitor. Okay, so that I can able to see. So serial.println request, I am just printing the same variable, whatever the command is received I am just printing it in the serial monitor. Now client flush, I am just sending that to the client. Now what is happening, depending upon the command, we will be writing it here. So I am creating one variable called value. Okay, so this will tell you what is the present status of my home appliance. Okay, so let us assume it is a light, 230 voltage light that I am going to control. So value of that particular light will be low. It means it is in off mode at first. Okay, suppose if my request, index request will be LED on, in the sense from my web server, my request is like /LED on, in the sense, then I have to turn on the light. Okay, so for that I am using the command called digital write LED pin comma high. So and also I'm making the status of my LED as high. So value is nothing but status. I can change it as status. Okay, so LED status may be, now it is low, I'm changing it as high now. Okay, suppose if the requested command is like something like LED off, then I'm making this LED pin as low and my status of LED is set as low. Okay, so that is the two lines. So this important, these two are very important lines. Suppose if you do not get any proper communication, that is if your LED on, instead of LED on, if you put something like small letter on or 1 or 2, some invalid commands if you are passing, automatically this if condition should not be executed. For that I'm just checking with not equal to 1. So only if my command is like LED on in caps, then I may turn off my LED properly. If not, then automatically this particular if condition should not be executed. For that I'm just ensuring it with the -1 sign. Okay, so after that I'll be closing my communication. So for that I'm using this command client.println. So if I want to create one web server, okay, from my NodeMCU device, if I want to create one web server, then I have to use these lines. Okay, usually we will be writing the HTML code in text file and we will be storing it on our system and we will execute. But in this case of home appliances, I'm not going to use my system, right? So where do I store my HTML coding and all? In the sense, I'm going to use store this particular, I'm going to create this particular web server from the NodeMCU itself. Okay, so for that I'm using this command client.println. So whenever I'm using a client.println, automatically it creates a web server step by step from my NodeMCU itself. Okay, so as usual in the HTML coding, I'm just starting the web server with the 1.1 value. So http/1.1 version I'm just starting, and whenever there is a successful connection I will be getting this OK, and the content type will be text HTML type, and client println I'm just giving one line spacing, and after that I'm starting my HTML code document type, and as usual HTML code I'm just starting with less than HTML and greater than symbol. Okay, so as like you write HTML coding, you can write it in Notepad, and you have to add these two lines, that is client.println and open bracket, then double quotation at start, and at the end you have to complete the double quotation and you have to close the bracket and put semicolon. So whatever, how many number of lines that you are writing in HTML code, that many number of times you have to write like this, then automatically your HTML code will be converted as a web page. Okay, so for CSE student you might be understand. And for client println, you have to show that your LED status, because in web server it may not be knowing what is the present status of my LEDs. Okay, so for that I'm just giving the status like that is the reason why I'm storing it with the LED status variable, right? So in the above condition, while giving that above condition, I have defined one variable called LED status. So this particular status will be representing what is my present status of LED. So here I have to check that if my LED status variable value is high, then I know that the LED is in on condition. So this has to be displayed in the web server. So for that I am using client.print as on, or otherwise it will be in off condition. Now in the web server I'm just closing the bracket, and I'm giving a reference line for my button. Okay, I'm just creating a small button, and the reference for my reference for my button is LED on. Okay, so it will be LED on /LED on, and this is the button closing. So the status is turn on. Okay, the status is turn on, and I'm closing that button. And the second button is LED off button. Okay, two different buttons I'm using. So LED off button, and the status of this particular button will be turn off. The name of the button will be turn off, and I'm closing the HTML tag. Okay, so less than /HTML closing bracket, and I'm adding one particular delay, that is 1 millisecond delay I'm just giving. And once if my one execution is completed, I have to disconnect my client, otherwise the client may be continuously turn on and off, right? So for ensuring that there is a only one time command, I'm just disconnecting my client. So client has to be disconnected, and serial.println, I'm just mentioning it in the serial monitor. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, now we will upload this code and we will see how it does operation. For uploading, you just press Ctrl U. Now you can see the code is uploading. So the amount of memory utilized by your code will be represented here, and what is the maximum size of memory available for your code inside the node MCU is mentioned here. And this is how your uploading will be taking place. So about 30% of code will be uploaded in one shot. So now your code has been uploaded. Now you can press on to this serial monitor at this corner, and you have to reset your code. And here you can see it is trying to connect with live with IoT, that is my hotspot name, and my Wi-Fi status is connected. Initially I am getting some few dots, it means that it is trying, and after it is successfully connected, it will be representing that status as Wi-Fi connected. Now my server has been started, and it is allowing me to connect with one URL. So I have to copy this URL, and remember the device in which you are going to use this server has to be connected with the same network. Okay, so in this case, Live with IoT is my hotspot name, my laptop is connected with my mobile, and my node MC is connected with my mobile. So all are under the same Wi-Fi network. Okay, so you have to ensure like that, then only it will work. Otherwise it may not work, because this particular IP address can be only identified within this network itself. Okay, yeah, the other networks will be having some other IP address. The same code, if you run with some others hotspot, it will give you a different IP address. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. So now you have to go to some browser, and you have to paste that link and press enter. Now you can see there are two buttons created. Okay, so one will be turn on and another will be turn off. Initially the LED pin may be in the turn off mode, because we connected with 0, that is low connection, right? So LED pin may be started with 0, that we represented. So LED status in the off mode, and we have created turn on and turn off button. Okay, now you can see the output. So whenever I am opening this browser, I'll be getting a communication in my serial monitor as new client is available. Okay, the client has been started, and it will be disconnected after a few seconds. Okay, now if I'm giving some communication, that is I'm going to click on turn on. Okay, automatically it identifies, and it will give you the request from my server. Okay, so this is my server. Okay, so from my server I am just sent an turn on condition, so that is communicated here. Okay, and again if I am pressing turn off, then the same communication may be received in my serial monitor. Okay, so serial monitor I have seen. now you see it in the display, that is I have connected my camera. So if I am pressing on turn on, the same communication may be sent to my COM port, as well as you can see there is a turn on condition, and if I am click on turn off, automatically lights off. Okay, so turn on and turn off. So now I have made my browser as a server. Okay, so by using this particular server IP address, I am controlling my home appliances. Okay, so here in this case I have connected my LED. So if I am clicking on turn on, it is turned on, and the same will be communicated to my serial monitor. And now if I am pressing turn off, the same may be communicated immediately, it responds. Okay, so by using this you can do your home automation in your home itself. So here one specialty is that if you turn on your hotspot, it is more than sufficient. There is no need of net connectivity, right? So as soon as your hotspot is turned on, automatically you can connect your control your home appliances by using these two pins. And if you want more number of pins like this, switches like this, then you have to repeat the lines. Okay, so whatever the lines used for designing your button has to be repeated. So here in this code number 96 and 97, we have created one button. If you repeat this particular two lines for any number of times, then that many number of devices that you can easily communicate, and you have to define the pins accordingly. So here in the top pages you have to connect them LED pins to one particular node MCU pin. Okay, so here we have represented with D1. So suppose if you want D2, D4, D5 likewise, then that much number of integer variable you have to create, and you have to assign the pin mode for that. Thank you so much.